as a Black person anywhere hasn't been easy since the transatlantic slave trade. Life as a Black person in the Bronx, New York City has never been easy. After the push for equality in the civil rights movement in the 1960s, there was a significant backslide in racial, economic, and political equality in the 1970s. When times have been tough, dance has been an outlet for the disenfranchised to find joy and community. Enslaved Africans used jazz dance to reclaim ownership of their bodies and to keep hold of the culture and traditions that were stolen from them. Hip-hop is no different. Hip-hop dance provides a vibrant means for exercise, art, and movement, creating a platform for individual expression and undeniable talent. So what is hip-hop? Hip-hop is a way of life. Dance, music, rap, graffiti, MCs, they are all tools that the Black and Latino community use to achieve growth and personal/commercial development.
By the 1990s, hip-hop counterculture emerged into the mainstream, and in doing so, created upward mobility for individual artists through their fame and wealth, and subsequently lifted many of them out of poverty.
Hip-hop began on the East Coast when DJ Kool Herc, a Jamaican-born New Yorker, began to spin the records of favorite R&B songs back to extend their dance breaks. Some believe that the term hip came from the word hippie from Wolof, a language spoken in Senegal, Mauritania, and Gambia, which means to be aware and to be knowledgeable. Hop is said to have come from the connection to the knowledge of what dance is, hops, or cool, hip. However, there is debate and disagreement within the community as to whether or not this is true. Some within the community believe that the term originated with DJ Hollywood, who had a rhyming cadence with the words hip and hop.
It's known to me that when DJ Hollywood was spinning the party, he would have a rhyming cadence, which was something that you heard a lot of DJs do, on back to DJs that would spin the doo-wop records. And I believe it was said that DJ Hollywood would say something like hip-hop to hippity-hop to hip-hop, things like that, with the whole, it's on and on and on and on, like hot, hot butter. And the crowd would say popcorn, and that was with Lovebug Starsky cutting it.
Despite debates about the exact origins of hip-hop and its wording, it is generally accepted by the community that the phrase and culture of hip-hop was coined Africa Bambaataa in 1981/82. There are 4 basic hip-hop bounces. The deep bounce,
7 bounce down, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
The boxer's bounce,
That is with the music. Boxer bounce, accent it this way, and dance. Up and over, box. Dance. Arms are however you want. Dance. 6. Dance and dance.
the march, and the step bounce.
I'm gonna be here, boom, and bounce, bounce, here, down, and bounce.
All hip-hop dance uses one or more of these bounces. The use of these bounces as a foundation allow for freestyling to be clearly in the style of hip-hop without the use of a specific movement vocabulary like the ones found in ballet and jazz. While hip-hop began on the East Coast in New York, the West Coast developed their own version of hip-hop dance around the same time. By transforming some of the frozen steps from the East Coast to be more robotic, West Coast hip-hop developed into what is now known as popping and locking. While East Coast and West Coast hip-hop originated as separate styles, when hip-hop grew in popularity during the 80s and 90s, they merged together into a unified street dance culture. The hip-hop umbrella encompasses breakdancing, locking, popping, funk, boogaloo, reggae, stepping, whacking, house, vogue, and more, as the style evolves. Nowadays, many dance and fitness studios use the term hip-hop, quote-unquote, to describe their classes despite the fact that the movement is completely removed from the foundational bounces and culture of hip-hop. The misuses of the term hip-hop have led the general public to believe that any dance set to hip-hop, R&B, or rap music is considered hip-hop dance, no matter the implementation, or lack thereof, of the hip-hop bounces.
I'm from Italy, but I live in a very small town. Hip-hop is not so known as a political movement, or we just see hip-hop like a way of dancing, a way of dress. So my class is really just for fun. In Italy, we have everything to have fun. We are always smiling.
Of the hip-hop bounces. In the world of competitive dance, the bastardization of hip-hop is on full display. Choreographers with no knowledge of the history of hip-hop feel entitled to put their students on stage doing isolated jazz to a piece of rap music and call it hip-hop.
There's a hip-hop number coming up, and for some reason, I'm just not thinking of Abby as a grandmaster slam, so I'm really excited to see this.
Every girl in that hip-hop number, I wanted fire. What did I get? Lukewarm.
And nothing's worse than sitting and watching little girls come out who are incorporating their jazz and trying to call it hip-hop.
On the other hand, there are studios such as Ill Effects that are fighting to preserve hip-hop culture and dance in its truest form, while keeping with the times choreographically.
I got more slaps than the Beatles. Running on diesel, dog. Playing with my name, this lethal, dog. Who you see? What? Don Corleone. Trust me, at the top it isn't lonely. Everybody acting like they know me, dog. Don't just say it down, you gotta show me what you gotta do. Bring the clip back empty. You asked to see the ball, so they sent me, dog.
As hip-hop has been adopted and transformed by the general public, it has quickly become one of, if not the most, commercially viable styles in dance and music, further demonstrating the Black excellence that has shaped Western society. Critics now find flaws in the films that are examples of the early commercialization of breakdancing, diluting the intensity of the socioeconomic roots and origins of breakdancing and hip-hop culture by focusing on the dancing aspect of hip-hop, and largely neglecting the socioeconomic struggle that influenced it. After all, it's difficult to make anything palatable to the mass market while preserving its authenticity.
As hip-hop is adopted by the general public, it is vital that we acknowledge the artists of color that have laid the foundation for this cultural revolution, rather than appropriate it for profit and quote-unquote cool factor. By educating ourselves on the rich history of hip-hop, we can better understand and honor the struggle that made it into the commercial juggernaut that it is today.